What is up, guys? It's the JTNBA Report here, back with my second ranked team in my 2018 through 2019 NBA season preview. And today we have the top of the Eastern Conference, the second best team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics. And I'm excited for this season for the fact that I think this is going to be the first time in a while where truly the two best teams in the league will most likely play each other in the NBA Finals. Because the Warriors have been the best team in the league. Nobody's going to deny that. And of course, if you're keeping up with this, they're going to be the number one team. And we'll talk about the next episode. But the Cleveland Cavaliers were not the second best team the past 2 years. You know, that would go to the Houston Rockets or another team you guys pick. But the Cleveland Cavaliers are either the third or fourth best team in the league. But this year, the Celtics, assuming everybody comes back healthy, they're going to be the second best team in the league. This is going to be the first time in a while that we are able to say, hey, the two best teams in the NBA are playing each other for the ultimate prize, which is the NBA championship. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what happens with this Celtics team. So looking at what they did in the offseason, they only lost Abdel Nader, so not a big deal. We'll look over that. But looking at who they drafted and who they signed, they drafted Robert Williams, who I think this is going to be a steal for them if he works out. I know there's been some character issues already with him, but he has a lot of talent, and this is going to be a good pickup for them again if he can keep his head on straight, because he doesn't have good size, but he has good skill down low, and he has a good mid-range shot. And this Celtics team, coached by Brad Stevens, they can make anybody who has decent skills look amazing. I mean, look, they made Aaron Baines look like he was one of the best centers in the league last year after he had been a third-string backup in Detroit and places like that. So if Robert Williams can come out and he can either play that power forward or center position, I think he's going to be very valuable for them. Now, talk about Aaron Bayless. They also re-signed him, which again, I think this was a big move for them, because in the playoffs, once Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, and people like that got injured, they started playing him at the starting spot, and they moved Al Horford to the power forward position, and he played great. And he'll come off the bench this year unless, they start to have some rotation issues. But again, this is just a very valuable player for them. They kept their good players. And then Marcus Smart, who a lot of people thought he would leave, he's been one of the best defensive players in the Eastern Conference, and he's been a true all-star on the defensive end for the Boston Celtics. They needed to keep him, and they did. And keeping him just makes their depth that much better, because he is great. They have Terry Rozier, who's more of the offensive backup point guard, and Marcus Smart's more the defensive, and he's just a hustle player. And you need guys like that if you're going to win championships. So overall, a great offseason. They didn't really add much, but again, they didn't lose anything either, which is extremely valuable for them. So looking at the starting lineup, this Celtics team is just stacked with offense, with the starting guard being Kyrie Irving. My opinion, probably the second best point guard in the NBA. You have to look at Westbrook, Lillard, people like that as well, but I think Kyrie is... I think some people tend to underrate him, and I think it's just kind of crazy because he's such a good guard. Then Gordon Hayward at the shooting guard. I think he could also move to the small forward, but it doesn't really matter because Brad Stevens tends to play some positionless basketball as of late. So Gordon Hayward will be in there. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, the two young players who look like they're going to be all-stars. It's going to be great to see whatever they become, because I think it's going to be big. And I'm really happy I didn't end up trading them for anything, because I think these two guys are going to be the Celtics' future. And then, of course, Al Horford at center. Al Horford had a great year last year. He was an all-star. And, it just shows that he is still valuable even at his, I don't want to say older age, but at his veteran status now, I guess. Then at the bench, of course, sixth man, we have Terry Rozier, who really stepped up last year. He was really probably the best backup point guard in the NBA. Unless you want to give that to Eric Gordon, but I still view Eric Gordon as kind of the shooting guard. But, he was great. Marcus Smart. Marcus Morris really stepped up last year as well. He was acquired in that Avery Bradley trade with the Pistons, and he really stepped up and played some good minutes for him. Now, Gabershawn Yabuse. I completely butchered that. But he was a great person for them as well as Daniel Thies, and of course Aaron Baines. So they have a great rotation. They have good big men, and of course Robert Williams will make this rotation as well if he can decide, if he pans out. And this Celtics team, again, they're just deep. And if they wanted to, they could always bring Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum off the bench. So this team is very versatile, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on them because I think a lot of people think that the Warriors are just going to outstar them. But the thing is, Brad Stevens is a basketball genius, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with these guys and if they can stand up to the Warriors, which I think they have a good chance of doing. So the thing to look out for this team is, I'm pretty sure you've heard the rumors by now that Kyrie Irving is considering leaving. He might want to go to the New York Knicks, but I want to go ahead and maybe put that on pause because I think if the Celtics make the finals, I cannot see him leaving just because, if they lose, he kind of be like Kevin Durant once again. Now, if he goes to the Knicks, which is pretty much the big dream destination for him at this point, I don't think it would be as bad just because the Knicks are nowhere near as talented as the Golden State Warriors, so it wouldn't really look like, oh, geez, Kyrie left and joined a superstar driven franchise. He would have gone and joined a team that has been, distraught from the playoffs for a couple years, and they're looking to get back. But as of right now, I don't think that Celtics fans should worry about that just because I think that if they start to do good, Kyrie is going to say, well, while I might want to go somewhere else, I want to stay in a winning environment. And, I think that at the end of the day, that's going to be important. As we saw with Paul George, he could have gone to Los Angeles, but instead he stayed with Westbrook because they thought they had a chance to do something. So anyway, guys, this has been the JTNBA Report, and next time we'll be going to my first ranked team, the Golden State Warriors. I'll see you guys then.